And this is from NBC. They posted this trailer right here. Angel Reese, Stewie, Valkyries, Aja, Kelsey Plum, NECA, Paige. If you know, you know. With basically all the big WNBA players in it. This is the W and this spring. And obviously,
the digital landscape of sports media erupted with a specific kind of energy recently. NBC, a titan of broadcast television and the new home for a significant portion of the WNBA's media rights, released a promotional trailer. It wasn't just any promo. It was a high-octane, cinematic piece of marketing artistry. The visuals were sleek, the editing dynamic, set to a pulse, quickening soundtrack. It featured the league's brightest constellations: Angel Reese, the fiercely competitive rookie sensation; Breanna Stewart, the versatile and decorated forward; Aja Wilson, the defensive powerhouse and face of the Las Vegas Aces; Kelsey Plum, the sharpshooting guard; and Paige.
CBA. I need to talk about that. Everyone's saying, oh, they didn't offer a different revenue split, and they absolutely did not give the players a revenue split, which is something that I think we all kind of know that isn't going to happen. We've always said is like, look, they're not going to get the rev split, but what they should get is the highest salary possible. The WNBA offered a $50K per player price raise. Like, they literally added an extra 10% to the salary cap from their initial one. They didn't change the max salary, but they bumped the average salary up by $600K as base salary.
Paige Bueckers, the collegiate superstar whose professional arrival is among the most anticipated in sports. The message was unequivocal. This is the W, and this spring it's everywhere. Yet, within moments of its release, a palpable unease spread through the more analytically minded quarters of the sports world. The trailer felt like a victory lap for a race that hadn't yet been run, or, more accurately, for a season that legally and logistically could not yet be guaranteed. The stunning,
are going to be making $0 if there's no season. So I think it's hard to be in general anti-players when they make $0 if there's no season. And it's one of those things where this is not like the NBA in 2011 where they could afford a lockout because the players already had money, other than the rookies who knew they were eventually going to come back into a league where they were going to make millions and millions of dollars. Like, the fact is that there is a world where the WNBA does not.
Ignorable problem was this: there is, as of this moment, no collective bargaining agreement, CBA, between the WNBA and its Players Association, WNBPA. No signed CBA means no binding schedule, no player contracts for the upcoming season, and, in the most stark terms, no 2025 WNBA season. So why would a corporate entity as vast and legally meticulous as NBC Universal risk advertising a product that, technically, might not exist? This single piece of marketing has become a Rorschach test for the tense, complex, and historically significant.
They have to know more because, by the way, again, coming to NBC and Peacock, surely by saying this, they've left themselves open to some form of, if nothing else, a guaranteed refund. I don't know anything legally, but like, surely, if you saw this advertisement and you bought Peacock for the year, you bought a year of Peacock today, you could win $1 million. I'm sure you could go to them and say, I bought this for WNBA and advertise it.
Negotiations happening behind closed doors, revealing layers of financial models, leverage, risk, and the precarious future of a league on the cusp of unprecedented growth. To understand the gravity of this moment, we must first disentangle the public narrative from the private realities of the negotiation. The popular, simplified framing pitting greedy owners against underpaid players fails to capture the fundamental, philosophical chasm at the heart of these talks. This is not merely a dispute over dollar amounts, though those figures are critically important. It is a clash over two diametrically opposed visions for the league's economic structure.
If y'all force people to subscribe to watch, except I doubt there'll be a season, maybe if they decide to pay the players what they deserve. I mean this when I say this, like, even if the player, they paid they're giving the players 7x increases. The players are holding out for the players. It's not even about paying the players, which is the weirdest thing. Is it's nothing to do with paying the players. It is the players want an entirely different system of how their payment is generated. The players aren't actually asking for more.
And the players' place within it. On one side, the WNBA League office, representing the team owners, has put forward offers centered on a fixed salary model with substantial increases. Reports indicate their latest proposal included a base salary cap increase of $600,000 per team, a significant 10% bump from their initial offer. This would raise the average player salary by approximately $50,000. For a league that has famously operated at a loss for the vast majority of its nearly 3-decade existence, these are not trivial concessions. The owner's argument is built on a foundation of fiduciary responsibility and long-term investment. They contend they've absorbed hundreds of millions in losses to keep the league alive, funding operations, marketing, and...
I think it's also positive that the WNBPA have not called it a slap in the face. I've not said it's like putting a lipstick on a pig. I've not responded with anything or publicly started posting on social media about this, or like asking them to write angry letters towards Adam Silver. They haven't posted anything from this since this one, which is important, which is genuinely
infrastructure. Their proposed model guarantees players higher, stable incomes regardless of the league's annual profitability. A crucial point, as the WNBA, while growing rapidly, may still not be collectively profitable. They are offering security and a raised floor, betting that continued investment will grow the pie for everyone, eventually. The players, through the WNBPA, are rejecting this incrementalist approach. Their counter is a demand for a revenue-sharing model, akin to the partnership structure in the NBA, where players receive roughly 50% of designated basketball
look, we need a season. We can't live without it. And just do what you can. Do what you can, get us the best deal you can. And I wouldn't be surprised if the players could probably negotiate. They've gone from 5 to 5.6 million. The players could probably negotiate another million on salary cap, which is again an extra 100k per player on average. So basically from the last CBA, from the one 6 weeks ago, they could probably bump up the average salary to 650k from 450k base salary. They absolutely could go and do something like that. Maybe bring the rookie salary up to 300k. They have
related income, BRI. This is the core of the stalemate. The players are not, as some commentators have mistakenly asserted, simply saying the owner's dollar figures are too low. They are demanding a complete systemic overhaul. They want their compensation to be intrinsically tied to the league's financial success. They want to own a piece of the upside. Their argument is one of equity and partnership. If the players are the product, the reason fans buy tickets, jerseys, and subscriptions, then they should directly benefit from the growth they fuel. They point to the exploding metrics: record television ratings, sold-out arenas, superstar athletes becoming household names, and monumental media.
There's no way that a network would be posting this unless they were confident. Especially when you put fucking neck in the trailer. Like, I don't think this is going to put pressure on the players, because a network is not going to be putting pressure on the players, because the network can probably almost certainly get their money back if there's not going to be a WNBA season. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I still think the likelihood is well above 50% of there being a season. And anyway, yeah, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment.
Rights deals like the one with NBC. They argue this momentum is a rising tide they have a right to sail on, not just watch from the shore. This fundamental disagreement explains why the negotiation is so fraught. Revenue sharing in a profitable entity like the NBA is straightforward mathematics. Revenue sharing in an entity still climbing out of the red is a complex gamble. If implemented when the league is not profitable, it could theoretically result in players earning less than a guaranteed salary. The owners fear locking in a percentage of a number that might be negative or negligible, potentially jeopardizing team stability. The players see it as the only way to ensure they are not left behind if the league's current growth curve becomes a vertical line. They are willing to bet on themselves and the league's future, even if it means a model that carries more risk in the short term. This context makes NBC's decision to launch a full-scale promotional campaign utterly fascinating. From a purely risk-averse corporate perspective, it seems like a perilous move. Consumer protection laws, such as those enforced by the Federal Trade Commission, prohibit false or misleading advertising. If a consumer can demonstrate they purchased a Peacock subscription primarily based on the advertised promise of WNBA content, and that content does not materialize, NBC could face not only a public relations disaster, but also a wave of refund demands and potential legal challenges. The network's brand credibility, especially in the sensitive arena of live sports where trust is paramount, would take a significant hit. They would be left with gaping holes in their spring and summer programming schedule, holes they would need to fill at the last minute, almost certainly at a financial loss. Therefore, the most logical conclusion is that NBC is not acting recklessly. They are acting on intelligence. The production of such a high-quality trailer is not a weekend project. It involves significant lead time, coordination with the league and players for footage, and layers of corporate approval. The decision to greenlight its release now suggests a high degree of confidence from within the broadcast partner that a deal is imminent. Networks like NBC are not passive bystanders in these negotiations. They are active, invested stakeholders. They have committed hundreds of millions of dollars for the rights to broadcast WNBA games. That investment is part of a larger corporate strategy to capture the booming women's sports audience, drive Peacock subscriptions, and attract lucrative advertising partners. They have a direct line to the league office and, likely, indirect channels to the negotiation process. Their marketing calendar is planned months in advance. Releasing this trailer is a strategic signal, a vote of confidence in the marketplace that tells sponsors, advertisers, and fans, proceed as planned. The season is coming. This interpretation is bolstered by a telling piece of evidence: the conspicuous silence from the WNBPA. In previous stages of this negotiation, when offers were deemed insufficient, the union and its high-profile members were vocal and swift in their public responses. They leveraged social media masterfully, rallying fan support and applying public pressure on the league and Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. The lack of any such outcry over the NBC trailer is deafening. No statements calling it a slap in the face. No social media campaigns urging fans to flood the league with complaints. No public framing of the promo as the owners trying to force the player's hand. This silence is strategic and significant. It suggests the union is not looking for pretexts to escalate tension or derail talks. It implies that, behind the scenes, negotiations are active, productive, and likely in their final, most sensitive stages. Public outbursts now could poison the well. Their quiet indicates a focus on closing the deal, not sabotaging it. The leverage dynamics in this negotiation are historically unique and often misunderstood through the lens of past NBA lockouts. The 2011 NBA work stoppage is a common but flawed comparison. In that scenario, the players, particularly the veterans and stars, had accumulated substantial wealth from years of multi-million-dollar salaries. They had the financial cushion to withstand missed paychecks. The rookies, while not yet paid, were entering a proven, wildly profitable industry where generational wealth was virtually guaranteed upon the resolution of the dispute. The financial pressure was asymmetrical, leaning more heavily on the owners who were missing out on massive gate and television revenues. The WNBA situation is nearly inverted. While a handful of top stars have achieved significant wealth through salaries, overseas play, and endorsements, the majority of WNBA players do not have that same level of financial security. The average career is shorter, and the salaries, until recently, have been modest relative to their male counterparts. Many players rely on the WNBA season as a primary, essential source of income, often supplementing it with overseas play that is itself contingent on their WNBA profile and fitness. For them, a missed season is not an exercise in brinksmanship. It is a direct threat to their livelihood. The league, while growing, does not generate the same gargantuan daily revenues as the NBA. So the owner's immediate pain from a work stoppage, while real, is of a different magnitude. This creates a paradox of leverage. The players hold the moral and cultural leverage. The league has never been more popular, relevant, or culturally embedded. Caitlin Clark's arrival, along with the rivalries and narratives surrounding Reese, Stewart, Wilson, and others, has created a moment that feels both earned and fragile. To lose a season now would be to squander this historic momentum, alienate a newly expanded and engaged fan base, and betray the athletes who have built the league to this point. The players are the indispensable product, yet the owners hold significant financial and operational leverage. They control the capital that funds the league. They can, theoretically, withstand a pause in operations longer than many players can withstand a loss of income. They also know that the players' demand for revenue sharing is a profound structural change they are deeply reluctant to grant. The players' need for a season is more immediate and personal, which in traditional negotiation theory weakens their position. This is where NBC's trailer and the broader ecosystem of new media deals, corporate partnerships, and soaring valuations change the calculus. The players' leverage is no longer just about their talent on the court, it's about their power as a collective commercial entity. NBC, ESPN, Amazon, and other partners have not paid for the rights to a dormant league. They have paid for the stars, the games, the content that drives subscriptions and advertising. These partners have become silent but immensely powerful allies for the players. A work stoppage directly damages NBC's investment and strategic plans. The network's very public promotion of the season is a form of pressure on both sides to finalize a deal, but it implicitly supports the players' most basic argument. This product has immense, bankable value right now. So, where do the negotiations likely stand? And what might a resolution look like? The WNBA's move from a $5 million to a $5.6 million team salary cap is a serious offer. It demonstrates movement. Analysts suggest the players could potentially negotiate that cap up further, perhaps to the $6.5, $7 million range. This would push the average salary well above $600,000, a transformative increase from the previous CBA. Additional wins could include higher minimum salaries for rookies and veterans, improved travel and accommodations, enhanced childcare support, and larger playoff pools. However, the central impasse remains revenue sharing. It is highly unlikely the owners will agree to a full 50-50 split of BRI at this juncture. A plausible compromise, one that may be taking shape in those closed-door rooms, is a hybrid model. This could involve a substantially higher fixed salary cap, meeting the players' demand for immediate, significant pay increases, a graduated or triggered revenue sharing system. For example, players could receive a percentage of league revenues above a certain profitability threshold, or the revenue share could phase in over the life of the CBA, starting with a small percentage and increasing as league revenues hit specific targets. A larger share of licensing and merchandising revenue, which is directly tied to player popularity and is a faster-growing revenue stream. Enhanced bonus pools tied to league-wide metrics like TV ratings, ticket sales, and merchandise revenue, creating a direct link between player-driven growth and extra compensation. Such a deal would allow both sides to claim victory. The league could say it protected its long-term financial model while making historic investments in player compensation. The union could say it secured life-changing immediate pay raises and established the critical principle of sharing in the league's growth, setting the stage for a true partnership in the next CBA. The clock is the ultimate arbiter. Training camps are scheduled to begin in a matter of weeks. Preseason games and the marquee regular season tip-off follow shortly after. Each day without a deal increases the logistical complexity and the financial losses for all parties. Players miss valuable training and marketing opportunities. Teams lose crucial preparation time. The league's meticulously planned marketing rollouts, of which the NBC trailer is just one part, begin to fray. And this brings us back to the trailer itself. It is more than an advertisement. It is a beacon. In its glossy frames and confident tone, it reflects the informed bet of a billion-dollar corporation that a deal is at hand. It is a manifestation of the very value the players are fighting to claim a share of. The fact that it exists, that it features those specific stars, and that it has been met with strategic silence from the union are the strongest indicators available to the public that the 2025 WNBA season will happen. The stakes could not be higher. We are witnessing a negotiation that will define the WNBA for a generation. Will it remain a traditionally structured sports league, or will it evolve into a more equitable partnership? The players are fighting not just for higher salaries, but for ownership of their careers, their value, and the league they built. The owners are grappling with how to reward that value while ensuring the enterprise's sustainability and growth. NBC, by releasing its trailer, has placed its bet on the table. They are betting on the season, on the stars, and on the inevitability of a compromise born from necessity and the recognition of a shared, golden opportunity. The likely outcome, therefore, is not a work stoppage. The cost of no season is catastrophically high for everyone. Players lose income and platform. The league loses its hard-won momentum and risks irreparable damage to its fan base. And partners like NBC lose a cornerstone of their programming strategy and subscriber growth. The mutual assured destruction of a canceled season is a powerful motivator. I believe the likelihood of a 2025 WNBA season is well above 80%. The negotiations will likely culminate in a late-night agreement, announced with joint statements praising the historic nature of the deal. It will include landmark salary increases, important benefits, and a foundational, if not fully realized, step toward revenue sharing. Both sides will present it as a victory, because in many ways, it will be. The players will have achieved a major financial uplift and cracked open the door to the revenue sharing model. The owners will have secured labor peace, preserved the core of their financial structure, and unleashed a league with stabilized, motivated stars onto a marketplace hungry for their product. And when the season finally tips off, the NBC trailer will no longer be a subject of anxious analysis. It will simply be the hype video for a reality that was fought for, negotiated, and secured a preview of a season that represents not just another year of games, but the dawn of a new economic era for women's professional sports. Stay locked in with my channel, Simply Explained, your home for the truth behind the WNBA headlines.